All right, everybody, welcome to Trendy Trading. Today is the 30th of October, 2022. Tomorrow will be that last day for that monthly candle to close, and we are watching those across the board, many different looks. Let's go ahead and dive into this short broad market analysis. I'll try to make it as short as I can. Let's go ahead and get started. So it looks a little bit different here this afternoon. I am going over the broad market analysis. So kind of show you what it looks like in the room. And so that broad market starts here. And let's go ahead and scroll up. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is the dates. So the range is October the 30th through the 4th of November. We do have a jam-packed earnings. Once again, semis are on watch this week. We said last week that semis were our go-to. Those were some of the best performing stocks last week. And so if you got a piece of that, congratulations. There are a lot of names here, like I said, that are reporting. We'll have fun trading them and hopefully get into some of those strategies. I showed you how we did those last week on Amazon, where we made close to 500%. And then we also traded, I think, was it Netflix? It might have been Netflix as well. We did very, very well on our earnings strategies. So looking forward to that again this week. Market Watch, as far as econ data is concerned, if you open this up, I went ahead and circled FOMC announcement. We also have the Fed Chair Jerome speaking as a press conference on Wednesday, so just know that. The market is getting close to resistance, so to me it would make sense if we kind of gap up off of Friday's momentum and then slowly kind of fade and create the playing field for Wednesday, and we'll talk about that here a little bit later. All right. The next thing here on Thursday and Friday, you can see we have initial jobless claims and we have non-farm payrolls. Speaking of Friday, I won't be here. I'm flying out to go see some friends down in Sarasota, so I'll be down there. If you guys are in the area, please let me know. So just again, I will not be here on Friday. However, I'm sure Melissa will be here. And if anything, if I decide not to trade live or anything like that, I'll probably just follow Melissa. Okay. All right, let's get into the SPY and QQQ. The overall results of last week. You can see those here. It did really well, right? So if you're trading the strategy over the neutral, I mean, you were able to hit T1, T2, almost T3, and then it pulled back. It came back to neutral, and then we got that really nice push out of there on Friday. That was pretty wild. Overall, we said this was an ACDC week coming in, and again, that's ACDC equals the monthly edge, and so that is playing out right now. Remember, we're holding within those indicators there. And as long as we hold above this DC or this decelerator, I am looking for price to push up into the 400s. Okay. The next one was QQQ. This one was pretty wild. And to me, that catalyst was obviously Amazon, which we bought on the dip. All these big names, Meta. And sorry, that's where I was going in the beginning of this. We did 500%, I believe, in Meta. Those really were the catalyst to kind of sink the market back, but the market, is kind of tired of going down, and so you see buyers coming in, and so regardless of the catalyst out there, demand is superseding and what you should be paying attention to, and obviously you're in the right place, and that is what I teach. This one, I understand, you could have been whipped out of that really quickly, but it actually gave you an opportunity to trade both sides. So if you follow the strategy, the first thing was we broke down underneath the neutral, we hit target 2. We broke above neutral, we hit target 3. We broke back down below neutral. You hit all targets to the downside. Then we pushed up on Friday, and even if you didn't know what to do down here, even though we came in the trendy edges, so we know here in the room what to do, but even if you didn't know what to do, you just waited towards the end of the day and took the move back above 277.2, you did really well. So these did work out great. A lot of good success stories in the room this week, and I'm just really happy to be here and helping you guys out and navigate this market. Now let's go ahead and go back and we'll minimize this. All right, and check this out from here. So the SPY, the bigger picture. So the one thing that I want to show you is over here on TV. Okay, so trading view. This is the monthly chart. And last week, and for a long period of time now, we're talking about an inside possible month. And again, unless something crazy happens tonight, I would expect this candle to close inside for this month, which really sets us up nicely. The higher that we close up here, I'm a little concerned because we have this formation of the monthly inside and down formation there. But what I want you to understand is we don't go short just because we do have a process around this. So again, if we push up into supply and we can hold this box, I want to stay as long as we're holding above that box. And that box is currently at around 394.47. So that's going to be your resistance until proven otherwise. If it gets above there, that's great. I think we need a little bit of time to digest. So what we want to see on these EMAs is for them to come up and get a little bit tighter, and then for bulls, you'll get that bigger break towards the back end of that supply zone that pushes us up towards 430. Okay, so again, 430. So possibly we could be seeing a move from 423 to 430 later on before the year closes out. But again, it's all about whether or not we could break into the supply and actually hold above. So just remember, SPY monthly, we're getting really close to our resistance. Last week, I told you that we could see about $20 in the SPY, and we definitely did see that really nice move this past week. Okay. All right, so the next thing that we'd be looking at is going to be over here on these charts. And let's go ahead and just put SPY and QQQ in here. And we're going to go to a 4 hour. Okay, we want to make sure that we are on the right date. So you can see it's 10:30:22, and then over here is QQQ for hour 10:30:22. Just take a mental snapshot of it. You should already know how to trade the neutral strategy. This is the neutral strategy for SPY and QQQ with the targets. And again, if you don't know how to trade that, you can go over to my YouTube page, and I have a quick video on how I trade the neutral strategy. These are your targets. Not much to really talk about, except for the fact that, again, we're on an ACDC. So what that is looking for is a move up here towards 405. Know that all these levels are resistance till proven otherwise, and the levels to the downside are support. A big thing on the 4 hour, look at the extension from the cloud to current price. I wouldn't say that it's overextended yet. It could still push a little bit. My boxes are a bit higher because I want to see, if we gap up into resistance and kind of fade tomorrow. And I say that with caution. I don't want anyone to think I'm bearish because I'm not. I love being a bull, and I think this looks really bullish, but it's going to have to prove on a gap up that it can actually hold. So we'll be coaching and talking about that tomorrow morning. Okay. Just note where the cloud is. So if price does push up, this cloud, this EMA right here, will push into this T1. So if any pullback happens, I'm looking for a buying opportunity around 387.51 to 385.54, somewhere in there. Okay. So again, we open up here, be cautious. If we open up down here, I'm looking to buy the dip. I'll be using the pre-market zone to get us on the right side of the trade. Over here on QQQ, same thing, folks. Got a little bit wider. Look at all the topping wicks. Bears say, hey, you're not passing this lane. We need to get over that. So please, please listen to me on this chart this week. Notice that the line is right here where a lot of people are getting stuffed. So there is definitely a possibility that you could get caught in a gap up here and it pull back on you. Be careful, okay? Have your stops pretty tight, but not too tight because I do expect volatility there. It's not like we're the first ones to see all of this topping wicks here. So, if I was a market maker or I was in charge of the market, obviously I'd take your money right up in here, but maybe not pull it back as deep, and kind of throw everybody off. And they're like, yep, big short's coming. But then we just kind of rip it right back up, kind of like they did everybody on Friday. Okay. Take a mental note of the targets here. And again, on both of these, I did identify 4 hour zones for you. This would be the extreme if for some reason I told you we're having a playing field going into FOMC. And let's say we hit resistance and it does play out to the downside. And Wednesday comes and Jerome is getting ready to talk and we happen to be at this 4 hour zone. I'd be looking for a pop. Okay. Same thing over here on QQQ. All right. And you can see the cues actually came right back down into this 4 hour zone and pushed up. So maybe, the canary in the coal mine, they're kind of showing us that this possibly could happen on SPY as well. Again, we'll see. All right. Let's go ahead and minimize that. And I want to take you into the cues just really quick. All right, and so this one, what's important about this closing of this month? We'll talk about what we said last week. It's pretty straightforward. Notice that price came right up into the monthly cloud and then rejected. This is just showing you that that cloud is resistance until proven otherwise. Bulls, you really need to stay above 273 or the 38.2 of this move. If you could stay above 273, that's a nice closeout of the month. What you really want to see and what I would like to see to think that tech could actually continue to move to the upside, they have to recapture this cloud and get above this resistance over here, which happens to be 286.85. Note, same thing as SPY. We have a monthly inside and down formation here. This is supply. You could see the top in wicks. We have a hard time getting through this. I would definitely expect resistance into this area. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is the dollar. So DXY, this is important. Why? Because last week we were on the right side of the trade and a lot of traders were not. And what I was paying attention to was the dollar. We were looking for that inside and we're getting that inside a month. Okay. Inside month candle. But again, it doesn't close until after the 31st. So we don't quite know yet. Anything can happen. But if this closes inside and we happen to start moving inside and down, then I believe we are creating some supply there on the dollar. It'll probably bounce back, come back and check that line. But sooner or later, I'm still looking for that fall into this inside and up formation there. Okay. And if that plays out, I think the market still rallies to the upside. Let's go ahead and go over. And again, we won't know that until a little bit later in the week. TNX, all right, or the Treasury, committing to the candles. So notice I'm showing you monthly candles on these. This is what we have been paying attention to. This is what's been keeping us on the right side of the trade. And you got to commit to the candle. So the monthly, this was resistance indeed. We did come up into some supply here. And as long as this monthly closes underneath here, it starts to look a little bit better for beta names. We could see prices or the TNX actually move back down towards the 3.7 area and possibly all the way back here to 3.196. That will be really interesting. So I'm really, keeping my eye out on this. All right, next one. Let's go ahead and go over here to, let's make sure I'm covering everything. Give me 1 second. So we went over SPY, neutral strategy, QQQ. We went over the dollar, TNX. The skew, this one's very interesting. I just put this out on Twitter. This is really low, and almost every time this has led to huge rallies. But why did it drop this past week after such a bullish run? Like, I'm actually a little confused on that. I've been studying this for a very long time. I thought it would actually have come up a little bit, but for some reason, it dropped to levels that have not been seen in a very, very long time. And the idea is when we drop this far, that the market's actually in a very extremely fearful state. But if you go to the fear and greed, all right, it's actually showing we came into greed. So they are absolutely messing with traders. And, a lot of good traders use this information. So I can't help but to feel a little baffled at the moment. So, I reached out to John Carter on Twitter. We'll see if he answers. I'm really curious. But if you were to put a chart of the SPY in the background, folks, at these levels, the market rallies huge for the next weeks or months to come. I find it really sus, as my girls would say, suspect, right? Because we're coming into supply and it would take a really big catalyst for us to just blow through that supply. So is there something coming up? Let's go ahead and think about this. Elections? Interesting. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun. I hope we have a great week this week. We will. We will. Definitely. Law of attraction, baby. So, anyways, that is the skew. And then coming down here, we had the fear and greed. I just showed you that. The next thing that we want to look at, I'm not going to go over these in great detail, but in your futures room, we have our futures charts. I've given you all the setups here on ES, okay, and the NASDAQ. I can give you more, if you need it. but that's what we're looking at so far. So please go through all three of these charts on each one of these to get the setup. And you'll see that you can see here's the NASDAQ for the 30 minute. We're looking for it to gap up possibly into this supply, and then I would expect the range to be between these two levels overnight tonight. Okay. The next thing I just want to bring up really fast is your futures chat. You guys are killing it in there. Absolutely love to see that. And then, so please use that as much as you want to. And then the next thing is the journal in your futures room. So make sure you're using that. If you're taking trades in there, please journal it just like we do with our regular options and equity trades. I really encourage you to do so. That will really help you out in your trading. Okay. Remember, if for some reason, I don't know if this broad market analysis will go out a couple days later to everyone, but if you have not checked out Trendy Trading, please do so. We have a trial for 7 days for $5. You get to watch us day trade live with real brokerage alerts that come straight from our account to Discord within milliseconds. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's more transparent. I really hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys here shortly. Maybe tonight for futures, but I do have plans to have dinner, so I may not be trading tonight, but we'll definitely see you guys in the morning. See you soon.